Hello, it's Adam here. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we are talking about a movie that I saw back in April, and I have been yearning, craving, itching for the embargo to lift. I wrapped up this press screening and immediately had to talk about it. I could not wait. And now the embargo's finally lifted, and we can talk about Is God Is. Is God is based on the play of the same name by Aleshea Harris. She is also directing this adaptation. It's her feature film directorial debut, which is very, very exciting. And it tells the story of two twins. Racine, the rough one, played by Kara Young, and Anaya, the quiet one, played by Mallori Johnson. They are covered in disfiguring burn scars that were caused by a fire set by their abusive father. They are contacted by their bedridden mother, who they have not spoken to in many years, and upon arrival, she tasks them with finding their father and, quote, making their daddy dead. They then embark on this cross country revenge trip, and they grapple with the ideas of vengeance or mercy and how they will go about this. I found this to be so utterly riveting. I feel like it is such an exciting arrival for Aleshea Harris as a film director. You know, it takes these familiar bones of a revenge story and really makes it its own. Harris imbues it with her own visual flair and style, and it feels really unique and exciting and different than other things we've been getting. It is a revenge story kind of soaked in this Southern Gothic tradition with this poetic language. I think sometimes a lot of people don't really understand the fundamental difference between film and stage, and you're probably listening to me say that and going, well, no, duh, they're different. But I think both of them come with different sets of intentions. You are putting something on stage for a reason. You are putting something on film for a reason. There are different things these mediums achieve that inform the story you are telling. And I think Harris really understands the intention. I feel like she is using the film medium and really pulling out these pieces of her text and enhancing them and extrapolating them and really like honing in on them in an exciting way. She is making these visual choices that are really exhilarating. You know, oftentimes in media we talk about like the twin telepathy, right? And in this instance, when the twins are communicating silently, there is text on the screen and done so in a very specific visual way. I know in the written play itself, the text is very specifically formatted and visually laid out as well, so that's a cool connection. Harris also does really interesting things with split screen with the twins. I think that's a really smart decision there. And I think those choices also reflect the journey the girls go on, which I won't get into spoilers there, but I think they are being used in a way that is exciting, but also like heightening and enhancing the character's journey. She's also making really cool choices when we go to like flashbacks, when we're getting more pieces of the story. You know, we go from your standard color film and it fades to this sepia tone, but she's using specific colors and enhancing that to like really convey her meaning. I think it's really visually bold, brave, and exciting. And I think because these visual choices are so exciting, she never sacrifices the theatricality of the story. We are never diminishing like the poetic language. I think because these choices are so strong and big and bold, we are able to maintain the staginess of it all. So it still feels like it exists in this heightened world, and it all comes together really beautifully. I think sometimes in adaptations, you know, people think they can just point a camera and like do the play, and that doesn't always work. I think especially like for a film like this that is adapting a play that is so epic in scope, you really need to do something like that. And I think because the language is so rich too, I think she understands how to like play from medium to medium. I loved it so much in that regard. I kind of got lost in the sauce there with my thoughts for a minute. I hope that all made sense. Not only is the visual language just beautiful and stunning, but she's also able to sell this thing because of her performers, and boy, what a cast. We've got Tony Award winner Carrie Young as Racine, the rough one. Carrie Young has made history on stage. She's really carved and trailblazed a path for herself in the theater industry, and I think her theater background is a beautiful tool here, but she is also able to really cater the performance for the intimacy of film. I think she really knows how to like nail it in that intimate film way. Racine's really interesting because she has this like anger and this pain inside of her, and the character goes on this interesting trajectory where, she immediately agrees to seek vengeance, and she almost starts to relish in it and enjoy it. And it is a really interesting duality Young is playing with. We see her with her sister and like this protective nature around her, but we also kind of watch her humanity kind of waver in and out as we get closer and closer to committing what is asked of us. Kara Young, oh, Kara Young, you are amazing. Mallory Johnson as Anaya is a great counterpart to her. I think these two are in such perfect sync and harmony with how they are both contrasting and complementing each other. Anaya is dubbed the quiet one, and she is this like really soft, very at first timid kind of being, but I don't think Mallory Johnson sacrifices like any sense of autonomy. I think the timidness is just a result of her experiences and always having Racine to look out for her. While Racine's journey is about like grappling with vengeance and maintaining her humanity, Anaya's whole journey is really finding her voice and stepping into herself, and I think Mallory Johnson really charts that out beautifully in a very effective and impactful way. Again, like the visual choices I mentioned earlier also help bolster that. As Anaya starts to really carve her own identity for herself, we start to kind of lose like the split screens a little bit. We start to kind of waver on the text, and some people might find that to be inconsistent, but I think that is an intentional choice that reflects our mindset. Vivica A. Fox plays their mother, who they dub God, and I just think this is such an impactful performance, and she really only has like one block of screen time, really. She is mostly confined to the bed as well, but I was really impressed with how she is able to just command the room. It really does feel like a queen on a throne, right? Like we are immediately drawn to her. She commands you. She doesn't move for anyone else. Like her presence pulls you in. It's such a wonderfully haunted performance from her. I really loved her work in this. Janelle Monáe is really fun in her limited capacity, and I loved Erica Alexander as Divine the Healer. She is like a really bonkers go for broke character, but I think the character also still fits into like this sinister darkness kind of coursing throughout the story. And then we've got Sterling K. Brown, who is billed as the monster. He is terrific. Sterling K. Brown is one of our best right now. That's no secret. But this was a really exciting and frightening watch. I don't think I've ever really gotten to see him sink his teeth into something like this. And it was just, I'm kind of speechless. It's like a really calculated performance. We experience him in doses and flashbacks, and it feels kind of almost heightened. And then when we finally get to like meet him, he's really methodical and restrained, and you're waiting for the monster to come out and lash his teeth. I really was genuinely afraid, which I don't like because I love Sterling K. Brown. I think he's one of the most charismatic men we've got. I love him so much, but oh my god, what a chilling turn. This thing takes off at a breakneck pace. I really wastes no time throwing you into the deep end, and I think it unfolds the history really well. From the jump, I already have a great sense of Racine and Anaya's dynamic. I know their relationship thoroughly, even though it's just given in a glimpse. I think the exposition is well done. For a piece based on a play, they're very visually engaging. There's a lot of showing that's exciting. I do think it kind of putters out at the end. It almost like is going, and then it just kind of screeches to a halt and wraps up. It felt a little bit rushed at the end there. I feel like I didn't have a second to like kind of come down from it because it just builds and builds and builds. So that is like my maybe biggest complaint there. I do think the ending is great. It just kind of wraps up and you're kind of left with like a moment of, wait, what? I loved this so much. I think this is such a fresh and exciting vision. I already want another film from Aleshea Harris. I want more work from her. I think she is so exciting. Like the prospect of her making more and more films is just so exciting to me. I just want her to make whatever art she wants. Of course, I will be ready and waiting for anything she writes, makes on stage, on film, whatever. But what an exciting vision. This is her first feature film. Come on. Come on. It's so confident and assured in its vision, and it's able to convey what it wants to really well. This is like a fun and entertaining revenge story, but it's also like at its core this idea of like cyclical trauma. This burden of generational trauma just keeps perpetuating itself, and we continue it over and over again. And I think it is like this really fascinating glimpse at how we can like heal from it, or how we can let it kind of shape us and dictate our whole lives. And I don't think it demonizes either one. I think it really holistically looks at the appeals of it and how we are torn between the two and how we can exist with both. I think it's a very fascinating, thorny, and complicated story. I loved this so much. I think it's one of my favorites of the year so far. I really implore you to go see it. I am begging you to see it. It comes out on May 15th. I gave this 4.5 out of 5 stars. I can't wait to see it again. I really would urge you not to miss this. It's exciting and exhilarating and devastating and has a dark sense of humor. Please do not miss it. Please support work like this. I've said it a lot on my channel this year, but if you are wanting like more bold and original storytelling, like you've got to support work like this. Like I can't emphasize it enough. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you do all the things you're supposed to do with the YouTube channel: like, comment, subscribe, share, follow me everywhere, and stay tuned. We've got more reviews coming very soon. I am fresh out of a film festival. You're going to be getting lengthy reviews of those as they start to hit theaters, so you won't want to miss it. But until the next one, bye!